Australia's housing shortage is often linked to a high population growth. But is the high growth rate a recent situation, or has it always been this way? What is really driving our population increase? And what can we expect in the future? In the next 2 minutes, I'm going to unpack all this for you. For the past 70 years, Australia has consistently maintained higher population growth than the OECD average. The OECD are a group of 38 countries that are considered to be developed countries, and many of these countries are also popular migration destinations. Australia has historically outpaced nearly all of them in growth rate. You might notice this significant spike around the 1970s. This resulted from major immigration policy reform that opened Australia up to more migrants. After this initial surge, population growth rates eventually returned to normal levels for Australia. The history shows that Australia always had higher than average population growth compared to most other developed countries. Looking at more recent years, we're currently experiencing record levels of population growth. Now, while this follows a period of low population change due to border closures over the pandemic period, the current level of population increase is unprecedented. The most recent data as of May 2025 shows a population increase of around 380,000 people coming from overseas. And this is over 80% of the total increase in population. Now let's look forward. The 40-year forecast shows Australia will continue to have relatively high levels of population growth and will primarily be driven by net overseas migration. This projection also shows that our current record levels of overseas migration will gradually decrease to around 225,000 new residents annually. What's particularly interesting is the trend for natural increase, which is births minus deaths. We are seeing a clear downward trend as Australian fertility rates decline. By approximately 2050, our natural population change will actually turn negative, meaning without migration, our population would begin shrinking. Comparing these forecasts globally, Australia ranks second in projected growth amongst all the OECD countries, behind only Israel. However, there's a fundamental difference between Australia and Israel's growth. Israel's population growth stems primarily from natural increase due to its high fertility rate of 2.9 children per family, while Australia's fertility rate has fallen to a record low of just 1.5 children per family. So while Australia's growth is overwhelmingly migration-driven, it is still one of the fastest-growing countries in the world. We're expected to reach 38 million people by 2065, which is 40 years from now. And that is about 10 million more people than our population today in May 2025. To understand why people choose Australia, let's look at a smaller section of incoming migrants, the high net worth people. In 2023, Australia was the #1 destination globally for millionaire migration. In fact, we've held this position for 6 of the last 10 years, competing primarily with the UAE. Now, the UAE and Australia are arguably very different countries, but all these countries with millionaire migration inflows share some common factors, and these are a mature healthcare system, stable economies, and a high quality of life relative to the countries of origin. The millionaire migration data comes from a report which identified another factor attracting the high net worth people, which was unique to Australia, and that factor is a combination of abundant natural resources and a relatively low population density. These inherent geographic advantages suggest Australia will remain one of the world's most desirable migration destinations for many decades.